another marvelous moment. Today we're going to talk about the power of story. The power of story. Let's take an example. As some of you know, I am an insurance and financial practitioner for the last 33 years. I own a franchise that services all residents for the state of Louisiana. It is true that I had a story of me being disabled. It is true that in a selling environment, I can share my story of disability, whether it's the 2 back surgeries or whether it's this hand that looks like a Rand McNally road map because of a car accident and then falling and slicing this hand at 18 months old. And I can tell that story. And that story can be effective in that client or that prospect to understand and feel what benefit a disability program can provide. And so if that works for you, then perfect that story and use it over and over. However, there's another situation that occurred. I had a plumber building a home of mine, a home back in the early 90s. His name is George, and George was not only a great plumber, but man, he got along and had a great relationship with my daughter. They would cut up and it just was a quality relationship. So I was concerned about George, and we discussed, George, in your job, it can be dangerous. There's probably going to be a chance that you need to have some sort of disability coverage, because if you can't get up and go to work, you're still going to need a check for your bills. And George was open to that. Well, little did I realize, we implemented that program. We put the proper amount of coverage on it. Long story short, George went into a debilitating back pain situation, and he had to receive all those benefits that were promised when the coverage was placed. Now, the reason I'm telling you this, the point that I'm really driving at, is George's emotion when he tells me the story of Marvin, what you did for me and my family, the fact that we were able to keep our house in our household was so unbelievably powerful. I'll never forget you. Now, you see, I had my own story with my own surgeries, but I just don't think it's quite as powerful as George's story. So it doesn't matter whether you're selling insurance coverage, whether you're selling bricks, whether you're selling computer software. You have people that have used your product and service that has benefited on a high emotional level. So what I would suggest for you to do is to turn on a recorder or turn on a video and let that person tell their story. The emotion that they have tied to it is actually stronger than maybe even one of your own stories. That's my message today. As always, you can go over here to this link, sign up so that you can receive my other tips and strategies on selling smarter, living longer, working less. And if you have an association or an event that you feel like I can benefit your audience, by all means, let's have a virtual cup of coffee. And if you're local, we might even have a bowl of gumbo. Peace, love, and gumbo. Marvin LeBlanc for today's message. Bye for now.